Now, this particular beta tester, you'll notice they had some $10 trades. Give me a moment. Let's make sure you can see that. They had some $10 trades. They had some $100 trades, okay? This particular beta tester, based on a 75% payout when they won, generated $261 in profits. Now, to trade a $10 trade, you don't need a large account at all, okay? To trade $100 a trade, you probably want to have about $2,000 in your account. So why don't we do this? Let's give you some scenarios. If you had a $500 account and you were trading the max 5%, you traded $25 trades, and you also went 8 and 2 with a 75% payout when you won, you would have earned $90 in profits for this one trading day. Now, if you take $90 divided by a $500 account, that's a pretty hefty return for the day. If you had a $2,000 account, you traded each of those trades, $100 trades for that day, you would have earned $360 in trading profits. Think that through. Think that through. If you had about a $5,000 account, maybe it was 6, maybe it was 7, maybe you decided to be a little bit more conservative as your account value grew. That will tend to be what the course of action that most people have. They'll be more aggressive early on to build up their account. As the account builds, they can now afford to be more conservative because they're still trading a nice trade amount and they still make some really good profits, assuming profitability. You would have made $900 for the day. Now, this is not with you having recruited anyone. This is not with you having had a list. This is just you going in, taking signals at a time that's convenient to you, whatever signals might have been available during that time. And if they weren't available, then you waited until there was some signals available. If you had a $10,000 account and you were trading 5%, you would have had an $1,800 day. That you would have had an 18% return on your account value in that one trading day. So Dell said, why, T. Lamont? He didn't know anything about binary options, no such thing back then. Why would I give you my money tied up for 10, 15 years to make 18% in a year? He said, when I can make 18% in a month. I'm not even talking about maybe perhaps 18% in a week, maybe 18% in a day. Will that happen every day? Certainly not. But it sure does beat those high yield investment programs that some of us have been involved in at some point or another, where we put some money in, we didn't know where it was really going, and they said we were going to make 1% a day or 1.2% a day, and it worked for a while, and we had screenshot money, and then it was gone. We don't have to play those games anymore, ladies and gentlemen. This is real. The account's in your name. In this case, you took the trade. Another beta tester. Actually, this beta tester is the owner of the company, but he had never traded. Dr. Jason Rose, millionaire, he had never traded binary options. I won't say he's never traded, but he had never traded binary options. He was new to it. So he wanted to simulate what would happen if one of our option domination members didn't have a lot of money and they just got started where they were. So he took a lot of $5 trades, even $20 trades. Again, a $500 account would have easily accommodated these trades. He took these trades over a 2-day period. Now, don't expect this win rate. It may happen from time to time, but it's not going to happen every day. He went 13, 1-1. 15 trades, he won 13. He lost 1. And then he had one that was a tie. When you have a tie with most brokers, there are some sham brokers out there that will treat a tie as a loss, but none of the brokers that will have. When you have a tie, you neither make money nor lose money. The amount that you invested in that trade goes back to your account without any profits. All right, so he actually made $108 over this 2-day stretch, trading 15 trades over a 2-day period, going 13, 1, and 1. So that could have been a very small account, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do the same scenario. What if you were trading $25 trades? You'd have made $202.50, assuming a 75% payout. What if you were trading $100 trades? You took all the trades. You also went 13, 1, and 1. You would have made $875. Think that through. Maybe on just a $2,000 account, $875 over a 2-day stretch. What if you had a $5,000 account and you traded the max 5%? You might trade a little bit less than that percentage-wise as the account is growing. $2,187.50, ladies and gentlemen. That's without a list. That's without recruiting. That's without sponsoring. That's without selling anything. Okay? That's simply you going into the markets, taking some signals, You had a $10,000 account. You traded $500 trades over that 2-day stretch. If you did the same 13 1-and-1, $4,375, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to notice I'm trying to keep this as even keel as I possibly can. I want to keep my marketing hat off and just be in education mode. But I'm hoping that you're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. If you have either struggled financially, if you've struggled to make money on the internet, maybe you've been trying to figure out how the heck am I going to make this thing work with retirement because I'm way behind, or I'm way behind on college, or I've got a family member who's got a health issue. I really would like to be in a position to help them out more. Okay, I'm hoping you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so now with that being said, let's go over what happened on yesterday. This is coming from yesterday's signals, all right? You'll notice that the signal comes, it tells you the time that the signal came. It came in at 21:31 GMT. That doesn't mean that you got to take that signal right away. It tells us when this option is going to expire. So there was a full 29 minutes before this option was going to expire. So maybe you didn't see the signal right when it came in. Maybe you saw the signal 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. All right, well, what we would then do, we know that the direction is down. We know we're trading the Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar. That's the AUD CAD, okay? And here's our target price, 0.98908. Now, when we're trading a put, we actually want to get it at the highest price possible because we want the price to go down. We want it to burn, baby, burn. All right, so maybe you went to the restroom. Maybe you're just getting in from work. You fire up your computer and, oh, there's a signal. Oh, man, that signal was 10 minutes ago. Well, wait a minute. No, that doesn't mean that you can't take the trade. Let's see what the target price is. And if we can get in at that target price or better, in this case, better would be higher than where it currently is. On a put, better is higher. On a put, we want it to go down, so better is higher. A better price than the target price is a higher price than the target price. So if it's 98908 and you see it at 98921, is 21 higher than 08? Yes. So that's a better target price. It doesn't matter that I saw the signal 17 minutes after it was produced. What matters is whether or not I can still get in the trade prior to its expiration, and can I get in at a target price or better. Okay? Now, these win and losses are going to be based on getting in at the target price. Where did it end at expiration? So look at this one. At expiration, it ended at 0.98833. So here's the question. Is 833 lower than 908? We want it to go down. We want it to go down. Is 833 lower than 908? Well, the answer to that is a resounding yes. So guess what? You won on that trade. By the way, what I just did is the type of content that we will also have in the training portal. And when we launch the training portal, Who Needs a List? Who Needs a List is totally separate from Options Domination. Who Needs a List is our brand, our portal, something we were putting together with or without Options Domination. It just makes it more effective with Options Domination. And one of the reasons, when we launch the portal, we're going to make the portal free. Now, it may not be free forever and ever, amen, but it will be free. If you get it for free, it will always be yours for free. Down the road, we may charge new members something for it. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Right now, the whole idea is for you to be able to give away this portal, and so that other people can come in and get this type of training, whether they've done it before they've joined an Options Domination or whether they've done it afterwards, so they can understand it as they undertake it, okay? All right, now, so hopefully you have a better understanding. Let's do one more. And I want you to open up your questions box, because I'm going to quiz you. Let's do one more. Open up your questions box. Give me a moment. I want to see your questions, all right? Okay, again, we're in education mode. We're not in marketing mode. We're in education mode. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the bear with me. Let's take a look at this trade right here, where the signal came in at 2117. Okay, in your questions box, do we want this to go up or down? At 2117, that signal that came in, do we want it to go up or down? Put in your questions box, up or down. See, some of you are almost masters at this already. You already knew you wanted it to go up because you had a green arrow. Okay, when is this trade going to expire? When is this trade relative to GMT? When is this trade going to expire? There you go, Alan. There you go, Sandra. There you go, Brett. All right, it's going to expire 21.45. Okay. Now it's the euro dollar trading against the Australian dollar. You'll start to understand these currency pairs and these abbreviations as you go along. All right. So now with a call, our target price, we want to get in at our target price or lower. Think of buy low, sell high. Would you rather buy the stock at $10 or would you rather buy the stock at $8? You want to buy it lower, sell it higher. So on a call, we want to get in the target price as low as we possibly can. Now, if we got in right at the target price, that's okay. But if we can get in lower than the target price, that gives us even a higher probability that we will actually win the trade. Okay? On a put, we want to get in at higher than the target price. Higher than the target price on the put so that it goes down. Lower than the target price if we can so that it goes up. Okay? All right? So now, at expiration, we got in at target price was 928. At expiration, it was 896. Do you see why we would have lost that trade? You see why we would have lost that trade? We got in at 928. We wanted to go up. Got in at 928. We wanted to go up. And unfortunately, darn, we lost that trade. It ended at 896. Now, are we going to sweat bullets over this? No, because that should have been within our risk-reward parameters. I've got a $1,000 account. I traded a $50 trade. I lost that one. Okay, that happens. And I need you to understand that everybody's going to be taking different trades based on what works for their schedule. So you could have had some people when this first trade was came out at 1633 and then one came out at 1635 and another came out at 1635. You could have been in all three of these trades within just a few minutes of each other, and all three of those trades won. Now, if all you did was took those three trades, you're happy because you went 3-0 for the day. Whereas somebody else might have taken these first two trades first, then they won this one, darn, then they took these two trades here. This is why we're going to have the Who Needs a List portal, because I want people to know that up front, so that if they happen to take 5 trades and they only won 1 of the 5, that they're not foo-fooing on the system. Oh, okay, but the overall win rate is 68, 70%. I just need to take more trades. Doesn't mean I'm going to trade every single trade, but again, I can't judge the system based on I won 3 in a row, and I can't judge the system based on we lost 4 out of 5. When you look at the totality of yesterday, 14 signals produced, 10 were winners. If you were to have taken all 14 trades, and that's unlikely that you would have, but had you taken all 14 trades, you would have had a 71.42% win rate. And so let's do this again. If you had traded every trade yesterday, and again, it's likely that you wouldn't have because you wouldn't have caught all trades necessarily, but if you would have traded every trade at $25 a trade, you would have made $87.50 based on a 75% payout when you won. $100 trade, you'd have made $350. $250 trade, you'd have made $875. $500 trade, should you be trading a $500 trade if you've got a $2,000 account? Not if you follow us. Don't do stupid stuff. That would be stupid stuff. I would say go and put the dunce hat and go draw a circle and put your nose in it. You are in timeout. Don't do that. And in the portal, I'm going to show you some examples of folks that didn't heed what I said and had their head handed to them. I'm going to show you that. I'm not going to say who did it, but I hope when that person sees it that they're reminded of that sickening feeling they had in their gut so they don't do that same stupid thing again. If I got some money for every time I said stupid tonight, I'd be able to fund an account, wouldn't I? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the product. That's the product, ladies and gentlemen. So let's now go through the different subscriptions and what each subscription holds, and then we'll even talk a little bit about marketing on the back end. Okay, here we go. There is a subscription called Inheritance. It is ridiculously priced at just $49.95. And the reason I say that is because I've been in the trading arena since 1999. In the trading arena, things cost a lot more than in the network marketing arena or the affiliate marketing arena, okay? I remember when I first started making some money in trading in the stock market, one of the first things I did is I went out and I got this system that gave me real-time quotes. Back then, when you would go to your broker, when you went to E-Trade, as an example, and you saw the price on E-Trade, that was delayed by 20 minutes. And so I went and I got a system that was $499 a month just so that I could get real-time data as it was happening, what they also called level 2 quotes for my option trading. I hadn't made a lot of money, but I saw that it was a business. So for $49.95 a month, you get Inheritance. But what does Inheritance give you? Inheritance is going to give you these, what the developer High Test refers to as technical trades. You're going to get somewhere about 10 to 25 technical trades a day. And then technical meaning they're based on chart patterns, something called support, something called resistance. You'll learn all of that stuff in Who Needs a List. Now, there'll be some training also in Options Domination. I've not seen any of the training, so I don't know what's going to be covered in those trainings. But we'll also have Who Needs a List to supplement those. Remember that I've made a lot of money training and teaching about trading, okay? That's a skill set of mine. It's something that I absolutely am passionate about and absolutely love. So we're going to leave no stone unturned. I would rather err on the side of giving too much information than not enough, okay? So we've already seen how those signals look and how the signals fared on yesterday, okay? Now, so expect 10 to 25 technical trades per day. All right, of those, if you were able to trade 5 trades a day, I think that's good stuff. If you did that 5 days a week, you did that over a month, you got 100 trades in for the month, okay? There are going to be trading opportunities around the clock, so it doesn't matter what part of the world you live in. There are going to be trading opportunities when they arise. The target win rate for these technical trades is between 68-ish to 70-ish%. Yesterday was 71.42%, and to hear the developer talk about it, that was kind of like an average day. That was neither spectacular, nor was it, abnormal. That was a pretty normal day. Now, there was that stretch that if you had gotten in on 5 trades, you might have gone 1 in 4. Okay, so just understand that could happen. Don't get upset if you come into a Facebook group and you see that somebody took 10 trades and they wound up being 7 and 3 and you wound up being 1 and 4. Could that happen? Yes, that could happen. But we have to plan for that in our money management. In other words, I've got a $1,000 account. I'm not trading $500 a trade. I'm trading maybe 50. So if I traded $50 on a $1,000 account and I took 4 long, I went 1 and 4. All right, I was down $200 on my losses. I was up maybe $37.50 on my win. I'm not really excited about that, but could that happen? Yeah, that can happen. But what if I had gotten those first 3 trades and I won those first 3? So understand that'll be the give and take, all right? All right, and we've already shown you what would have happened if you had taken all trades at $25. You'd have made almost $90 yesterday. You would have made almost double the monthly subscription you could have made in 1 trading day had you taken all of those trades. Okay, so let me give you a hypothetical scenario illustration, all of my disclaimers. This is based on a 68% win rate. This is based on you taking 100 trades in a month. That's about an average of 5 trades a day. And this is based on you getting a 75% payout when you win. And that is really conservative, because in many cases, you might be earning as much as 80%. That differential there is really big, but I want to make this very conservative. If you were trading $25 trades, all 100 trades happen to be $25 trades. You didn't trade any higher, any lower. Ladies and gentlemen, with a 68% win rate, you win 68 trades, you lose 32. you'd make $475. What was your monthly subscription? $49.95 a month. If you had a $1,000 account, you were trading $50 trades, you'd make $950. What was that subscription? If you had $100 trades, about a $2,000 account, you just made $1,900. Most network marketers, most affiliate marketers aren't making $1,900. And I can tell you, as someone that is engaged in list building, if I made $1,900, chances are I've invested a whole lot more than $49.95 for my traffic sources that got me to the $1,900 for the month. Are you starting to see the power? Starting to see the power of this? Okay. $250 trades, about a $5,000 account. Could you imagine a $5,000 account generating $4,750 in profits for the month? So now you take care of your monthly subscription. Maybe you took some profits out. All right. Hopefully you allow some profits to stay in your account so you can build that account towards a $10,000 account, and build it some more, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So that is inheritance, $49.95. Now let's talk about enterprise. I believe that most people are going to want to start at least at this spot. Inheritance is a great way to start if things are a little tight, but I really want to see you consider enterprise sooner rather than later. Some of you will consider that right away. All right, so with enterprise, it's $149.95. Now, if you have enterprise, you don't have you don't pay for inheritance and enterprise. Enterprise comes with inheritance, so it'll just be the $149.95 per month. Okay, now what do you get here? You're going to get everything that inheritance has to offer, which is those signals that we just saw, with an average win rate of somewhere between 68 and 70%. But you're also going to get something called market trades. Now, what I'm about to share, I think I'm 95% correct on this. I do want to give myself about 5% leeway. In that, with a couple of my brokers and a couple of my account managers, we take what I deem Options Domination would call market trades. This is how this works. Once or twice a week, with one of my account managers, with one of my brokers, I come into my office, I fire up Skype. He says, "Are you in?" I say, "Yeah, I'm here, Charlie." He says, "Hey, I've got some really good trades for you. Hey, let's take a look at coffee. Let's do a put on coffee. Let's do a call on gold. Let's do this." And I'll take 3, 4, 5 trades in a session with my account manager. Now, this is exactly what happened with one of our trading community members last Thursday. Is he took trades with his account manager, and he took 6 trades, I believe it was. He won on all 6. He has a decent size account. He made $7,200 that trading day. These types of trades are based not just strictly on charts or the technicals. A lot of times they're based on news events. So for instance, I'll give you a couple examples. Oil has gotten slammed, and it's been at multi-year lows. So I get a message from one of my account managers, "Hey, oil is really down. We believe that it's going to, at least for this period, come back up. Let's place a call option on oil." Or there is a non-farm payroll report where the U.S. reports its employment figures, and it's going to be good for the U.S. dollar. We think it's going to be bad for the euro dollar. Let's place a trade with the U.S. dollar gaining strength against the euro dollar. Really, it would be vice versa. The euro dollar losing strength against the U.S. dollar. Or if it's good for the dollar, it might be bad for gold. So let's make a trade on gold. We think gold's going to go down because the U.S. dollar is strengthening today. That is what I believe they mean by market trades, okay? Because I've been taking these for a while now, all right? These market trades have a higher win rate. They're more selective. They don't happen as often, but they have a higher win rate, somewhere between 75 to 85% based on what the developer of the system has shared with us, okay? And he says that you should expect somewhere between 5 to 7 enterprise trades a day. Now, if you don't have an enterprise, you're going to miss those trades. So imagine if you got 5 to 7 enterprise trades a day, and those trades average 75 to 85% win rate, meaning 3 out of 4 won. All right, so you would miss that if you didn't have enterprise. So you could do very well with inheritance, but you could do well-er if you had enterprise. Okay, here's, by the way, some market trades that one of our trading community members took last Thursday with his account manager. What I believe the options domination developer is talking about when he says market trades. And again, this gentleman has a few dollars in his account. You wouldn't be trading a $2,500 trade if you didn't. But look at this. Look, get this. Look at this. Look down here at the bottom where it says 11:25 GMT. That's when he placed the trade. He placed his trade at 11:26, placed his trade at 11:29, placed his trade at 11:36. And then notice here are the expiration times. So when he placed these 4 trades within 11 minutes of each other, he was finished trading. He was just waiting for expiration. He came back a couple hours later and then placed these 2 trades here. And then he was finished. He was finished. That was it. And then at the end of the trade, he won. So on this one, he made $2,000 on this one trade. He made $2,000 on this one trade, $4 grand for the day. He made $800 net on this trade. Remember, when you look at your payout, you've got to subtract out on your winner exactly what your investment was initially. He made another $800, another $800, another $800. There's $3,200 right there, plus the $4,000, $7,200. Now, this was before options domination. This is why we are going to have our Who Needs a List portal. But now it appears that options domination with the enterprise will have trades like my buddy has. And see, I know to get these types of trades, you need to have like a $20,000 account. Well, you don't have to have a $20,000 account to get enterprise trades. You could have a $500 account and get enterprise trades. You can have a $1,000, $2,000 account and get those enterprise trades where you're getting maybe up to 5 to 7 of those types of trades on a daily basis. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is value. Again, to get this, typically with a broker, you're talking a $20,000 plus account. You're getting those types of trade recommendations with $149.95 a month. Now, how many of you, maybe you've been to one of our other webinars, got that for the first time, got the value of that $149.95? You really got it. Whether you can afford to do that now or not is immaterial, because you'll get there if you just stay the course. How many of you got that? Oh my gosh, look at that value. Wow, that's what I'm getting for $149.95? Something that I would have had to have had a $20,000 account with ABC or DEF broker to have access to that type of trades. Okay? Good. All right, good. All right, so now, when you have enterprise, you're going to be able to take these other trades, and in taking these other trades, have a higher win rate. And in having a higher win rate, that's going to boost your overall win rate. Now, I'm going to assume that if you had enterprise, that your win rate is more like 72% with your combination of your technical trades, what you saw before, and a combination of your market trades. So if you took the same 100 trades for the month, you won 72 of them. You still get a 75% payout when you're right, 75% return. It could be more than that, by the way, but 75% in this example. So now if you're trading $25 trades, well, before you would have made, let's say, $475 at the inheritance level. Here you made $650. And so that covered, more than covered in this example, if we hit these numbers, that more than covered the additional $100 a month outlay. Now, as you scale the account, and let's say maybe you have a $1,000 account trading $50 trades, imagine now having $1,300 potentially, all my disclaimers here, can't promise any of this, $1,300 in profits versus I think it was 900 and something. And I'm not foo-fooing on the 900, but if I can outlay an additional $100 and that can maybe turn around and make me an extra $200, $300, $400, and I'm going to do it. If I had that 2,000 or so account and I was trading a $100 trade, now all of a sudden, where I was at $1,900 before, with the 68% win rate. If I get a 72% win rate, now I'm at $2,600. So that additional $100 outlay could have generated an extra $600-700 for the month. And obviously, if you have a little slightly larger account, here's like a $5,000 or more account, $250 trades. Look at this. Look at the potential. So here I outlay $150 and potentially $6,500 in profits. Now, do you see why we say, who the heck needs a list? And I'm not telling you to discourage you from list building or to discourage you from referring. That's not the whole point. The whole point is I struggled my first 5 years in network marketing from 1994 to 1999. It wasn't until I started trading, started making some money trading, got my confidence up, and now when I presented my income opportunity, whether you join me or not, it really didn't matter because I could make money trading. So it changed my posture. My confidence came across, and then we finally started having some successes because I wasn't begging people to join me. I didn't come across as begging people. I didn't come across as being needy. I came across as somebody who could bring some value. And if you were to post your trade results, even in a demo account, even if it wasn't your real money yet, you're just demo accounting, if you posted that in Twitter, Queen, you've got 1 million+ people following you on Twitter. If you posted every day, if you posted that on Facebook, if you sent out emails saying, hey, here's how today went, do you think if you wanted to refer some others that you'd start to catch some people's eyes? But if you never did that and you made $6,500 in a month, is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Let's talk about legacy. Let's talk about legacy. The legacy is where we ultimately all want to be. Some of you will start here. I'm definitely starting here. Some of you will have to build up to here. But let me tell you why you want to be here, okay? You want to be at legacy. Again, 80% of what we're talking about is the product. We'll talk about marketing in just a moment, but 80% of what we're talking about is the product, okay? All right, so with legacy, you get everything that Inheritance has to offer. You get everything that Enterprise has to offer, okay? You also are going to get additional high accuracy trades, probably 5 to 7 or so a month. Now, somebody emailed me, and if the person who emailed me is on here, I didn't quite understand your email. I had someone who said, T. Lamont, you need to be careful telling people to trade non-farm payroll. What's non-farm payroll? Non-farm payroll is the most traded news event in the binary options world on a monthly basis. Non-farm payroll is when the U.S. reports its employment figures from the previous month, whether 233,000 new jobs were created, or whether average wages per earner went up or down, or what have you. It's a huge market mover. You can bank on it. It's going to be first Friday of the month. 8:30 a.m. Eastern is when that report goes out, and the markets go absolutely berserk. It's a phenomenal time to trade binary options only if you're trading based on the system. If you're trading based on a hunch, you're going to lose money. But if you're trading based on the system, and we've traded with account managers, we've gone, one of our account managers this last non-farm payroll, we went 7-0. The month before that, we went with one of our account managers, we went 6-0. With one of them, we went 7-1. So for that non-farm payroll day, we went 13-1. And yes, it produced a 5-figure day. You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? Okay. Now, I don't know that legacy will be non-farm payroll type trades, but they will be what appears to be special trade events, a little bit different than even the market analyst trades that we talked about in Enterprise. I can tell you that we had a non-farm payroll in December. It was a, actually that particular day, it was like a $6,800 day. Then we came back and we had another trading event with our account manager about 3 days later. That was a $10,400 day. So between those 2 days, we're talking about $17,000 in profits, okay? Who the heck needs a list? Now, it appears to me based on what I hear, so I'm about 75% I feel about 75% that I'm right on this, but 95% on the enterprise. I believe those are the types of trade events that we might see in legacy. It may not necessarily be sitting in front of the screen on non-farm payroll, but based on some type of extra trade event that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. Let me give you an example of some potential trade events that's happening now. Okay, in the U.S. stock market, there was earnings season started. I believe it was last week. So there were certain stocks that had their earnings, whether they were good or bad, where the market was going to move relative to that stock, and so you might have had a binary option trade based on that. Now, don't go and take these trades on your own without a system, okay? And maybe that's what the gentleman was trying to get across. I didn't quite understand what he was saying to me. So if you happen to be on the webinar, hopefully me explaining that in more detail, hopefully we're on the same page on that, okay? These types of trades are extremely accurate, and we're talking sometimes 80% and higher. And so even if you only get a few of these a month, they can radically increase your accuracy rates. Now, there's going to be an auto trader system coming soon, whereby it's not available yet, it's still in testing, but as I showed you before with the signals, you're not going to take every signal because you're not going to be in front of the computer every time a signal is released. You might be asleep. If you're in New Zealand, you might be asleep. I don't know what the time differential is. You might be going to bed when the U.S. stock market is open and there's a lot of flurry of activity around the U.S. dollar. Or if you're in the U.S., you might be asleep when the European stock market opens and there's a lot of flurry of activity around the euro dollar and the Great British pound. With the auto trader, you'll be able to click a button to say, hey, when a signal hits this target, go on and take the trade while I'm asleep, while I'm on vacation, while I'm doing a webinar. See, I'd love to have that right now, where if the system were live, surely there would probably be some trades while we're doing this webinar. I'd love to have the system to where it could trade for me and I not miss a trade while I'm doing this webinar. All right, that's coming soon. That will be available in Legacy. Ultimately, there's going to be a private hedge fund. Now, I don't know how further down the road this is going to be. I would imagine this may be a few months down the road. I'm sure they have to go through some regulatory this and that for this. But you probably have heard of a hedge fund. A hedge fund is normally for really big dollar people. In many cases, you have to come to that fund with maybe $1 million or more or what have you. Well, we've got collective economics here. So instead of one person having to have all of that, because we're going to have such a large group, I don't know what the minimums are going to be a part of that private hedge fund, but if you're in Legacy, you'll be able to be a part of that private hedge fund. And I'm going to show you some results of the private hedge fund from December 1 to January the 4th in just a few moments. Okay? And then there's also going to be training and then systems on wealth and legacy preservation. See, right now the whole idea is to trade binary options, ultimately then move into things like commodities and futures. But then the whole idea is to build an asset base, build, you know, a lot of cash flow, so that you can now put large chunks in something that's really safe. That gives you a nice fixed rate of return, but maybe it's 8-9% a year fixed. Well, if you've got $1 million earning 9% fixed with very little risk, and that produces $90,000 a year, wouldn't it be nice to know that you've got $90,000 coming in each year with very little risk? All right, so options domination is going to be a very comprehensive trading system. Yes, it starts off with binary options, but there's so much more than just binary options, which is why I expect options domination will become the flagship trading system within Who Needs a List. There will be other trading that we will continue to do, but I believe this will be the flagship. Okay. Now I want to show you the private hedge fund results for a month's worth of activity, but I want to preface it by saying this. Past performance is no indicator of future results, number one. Number two, this is Tillamook talking. This is not coming from Jason Rose, the owner. This is not coming from Hitesh. I can't pronounce Hitesh's last name, who's a developer, the techie guru and what have you. I perceive that because they were only trading their funds, that they had their funds traded more aggressively. So I would not expect to see these types of results when I have my private hedge fund through options domination. If they happen, great, but I wouldn't expect that. So I do just want to make sure that we've got our expectations toned down. Again, we've tried to really stay level on this webinar and not get too high and lifted up and swinging around the chandelier, okay? All right. But these are real numbers, ladies and gentlemen. They funded $50,000. I believe there was some commodities trading. There might have been some Forex trading. But you wouldn't do any of this trading on your own. This would happen with, you know, almost like a managed account type where it's happening. You've got your account, but, and I don't know if it's pooled. I don't know how all that works, okay? But these were the results. $426,000 in profits in just over a month. Now, that's the part that I'm saying that was probably traded more aggressively than when everybody else is a part of the fund. They'll probably trade that a lot more conservatively. But even if that happened over a year or two's time, to take 50 grand or 5 grand, I don't know what the minimum is going to be for that, but to take that and to essentially go more than 8 times that, are you seeing value in $399.95? And if you don't have $399.95 and you don't have $149.95, are you seeing the hope that with $49.95 you can get to $149? You can get to $399. You can get to a $2,000 account in time, a $5,000 account in time, a $10,000 account in time, and have days where the trading day was what you were making in your week. And then ultimately the day comes that a trading week is what you made on your job in a month. And then ultimately the day comes that a trading day was more than maybe you would have made in a month. My buddy in Norway who did $7,200 in a day, I don't remember what he does for a living, but I doubt that he generates $11,000 on a job like he generated in 2 trading days last week. Okay? I wanted a little feedback. Who here at this point says, we've got us something, we've got something? You mean that account that I set up with the broker, that's in my name. That's not screenshot money. I trade the signals. Then I can go from the signals to the market trades. I can go from the market trades to some of those other special trades. In time, a hedge fund. How many of you, thank you for your feedback, how many of you that are behind on retirement? We did a webinar a few months ago, and we did a poll, and we polled our audience, and the overwhelming majority of our audience for that particular webinar happened to be over 40, and the overwhelming majority, actually the largest percentage of our audience that particular night, I think, was over 50. And when I asked the question, what are your retirement resources, the overwhelming majority had less than $100,000 in retirement resources. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't depend on the governments of the world. They're broke. You can't depend on pensions. They're broke. Please don't just depend on entitlements. They're broke. We have to take this into our own hands. And heretofore, many of us didn't have a way to do it. That's why we had to do the 1% a day things and the 1.2% a day things, trying to find something that worked. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the financial markets have always worked. They just haven't been available to average people. Now with options domination, it's available to average people. Okay. Now let's turn our attention towards the marketing side. You know the product is real. You know you can make a ton of money just being a product of the product. Can you make money from the marketing side? Let's examine that, okay? Now, options domination is going to feature something that in my 20 years in this industry, really this is my 21st year, I've never seen before. I've seen a matrix. I've never seen a company-wide matrix where every customer, whether they are looking to affiliate or not, just simply a customer, someone who has one of the subscriptions, the $49.95, the $149.95, or the $399.95, where every customer is in a company-wide matrix. All right, so this is what we're used to. With a 3-buy matrix, what we're used to is This is you, and your matrix is comprised of people that you personally enroll. So you enroll Cindy, you enroll Jasmine, you enroll Mary. They're on your first level. Maybe, just maybe, there was spill that happened from above. Maybe you're part of a team that's growing real fast and your team was growing slower and someone spilled into your organization. That's what we're used to, okay? That is different here because instead of this being you, this is the company. And we're all in the company's matrix. Now, within the company's matrix, which has unlimited depth, it is a 3-by structure, so it would only be 3 on the first level. It will only be 9 on the second level. It'll only be 27 on the third level. Hey, Queen, can you unmute? I want to make sure. I just had a little little surge. I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, you're fine.
Thanks. Okay, good. All right. All right, so instead of that traditional way, it's a company matrix, unlimited depth. It still has the width of 3 on the first, 9 on the second, 27 on the third, so on and so forth. And then each of us have our own 3-by-7 matrix within the confines of the overall company matrix. Now, what do we mean? So let's say that this gentleman up here that's cheesing and smiling, he's the company. He's Options Domination, all right? And let's say that this dude right over here, Jeff, Jeff represents you right now. So Jeff has his own 3-by-7 matrix where he can have 3 on his first level, 9 on his second, 27 on his third, all the way down to 7 levels is what Jeff could be paid on. Now, his matrix could go much further than 7 levels, but he's going to be paid through 7 levels, okay? All right, so understand that the company matrix fixed with 3, 9, 27, so on, just multiply that times 3, unlimited depth. The company matrix fixed with unlimited depth. Your matrix, my matrix within the company's matrix, fixed with fixed depth, meaning you can get paid with 3 on your first, 9 on your second, 27 on your third, so on and so forth. Now here's the question, how do people get in your matrix? And this is where a company-wide matrix becomes very special. Let's say, for instance, that you are Mary, right up here with the red arrow, okay? No, you're not Mary. Let's say Mary is in the company. Mary represents Rachel Long. Rachel Long is a phenomenal marketer. Anything she touches, she goes to the top of the leaders board, including the sister company, DS Domination. If she's going to build Options Domination, it'll be hard to catch her in terms of personal enrollees. Or maybe this is Keisha Bass, part of Reginald Stinson's team. Just phenomenal young lady. I'm a big fan of her. I like to call her the Facebook diva. She's going to build this thing big. Or maybe this is Queen Twitter, 1 million people following her on Twitter. If she tweets every day what's happening in her trading, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, so here's Queen Twitter. Queen Twitter refers a new customer, whether that person wants to affiliate or not, whether they want to build the network or not, they want the product. All right, now, we're all a part of the company's matrix. Notice that the company's second level here is already full. The company's third level here is already full. So Queen's new customer is going to go in the next available spot of the company's matrix. So Queen's new customer is going to go right here where this red arrow is. So this represents this new person. And now notice that Queen's new customer referral may not be in Queen's matrix. That's okay, because Queen's going to have a lot of people that are in her matrix that had nothing to do with her or had nothing to do with people that she sponsored. So she's cool with that because she understands we're all on the same team. All right, so now here's her new person represented by the red arrow. So notice this lady right here who looks a lot like Shelly, who's on our webinar. This lady right here, Shelly, just got the benefit of a customer being in her matrix, and she's going to earn every single month as that customer continues to pay the monthly subscription. And so now let's say that um, my buddy down in Trinidad and Tobago, Tyron. Now Tyron, this guy is amazing. He is a builder's builder. He can recruit like the wind, but he takes very meticulous care of his folks. And he's more of a builder than just a recruiter. Some people recruit, they get you to join them, and then you never hear from them again. Tyron is very protective of his audience. He makes sure that they're getting the right information. He does a phenomenal job. Okay. Now Tyron is going to build a huge, massive personal referral network where he's going to recruit probably hundreds of people into Options Domination. In doing so, if this is Tyron right here in blue, when he brings on a new customer, that new customer goes in the next available position of the company's matrix. And if that next available position is right here where the yellow arrow is, then whoever this person is benefits by this person now being a part of their matrix. This person here in green benefits by this yellow person being a part of their matrix. Cindy here benefits by this person being a part of their matrix. So we're all a part of the same team. So Queen, in times past, this is how things would work. All right, I've got my following, I've got my way of communicating with my team, and so we'd be in a company and I would have maybe a training portal for my team and my team only. All right, because secrets so our team could be the best. And then you'd have Reginald Stinson, a phenomenal leader, biggest leader right now in our sister company, DS Domination. He'd have his own training portal. He'd have his own audience or what have you. And you could only get to his training portal maybe if you were part of his team. And so it was like, a little healthy competition. It was good, all in fun. He wants to be at the top of the leaders board. I want to be at the top of the leaders board, and so on and so forth. Well, here's the thing. With the company matrix, as I go out and build my personal referral network, Tyron builds his personal referral network, Rachel Long, Keisha Bass, Jeff Long, Troy Rudd, as we all build our own personal referral teams, we're all helping the company-wide matrix. So the more we go out, the more people and customers are going to come into the overall matrix. Okay, now how do we get paid on this? All right, there's going to be 3 matrices running simultaneously. The first matrix we'll refer to as M1. It's going to fill organically from top to bottom. All right, so what will happen is a new customer comes aboard. No matter who referred them, they get placed in the next available position in the matrix. Now, there's going to be weekly compression. So if a person does not maintain their membership, a lot of times in matrices, you'll have someone taking up a spot that's not active. They're not paying their monthly subscription, but they take up a spot. Well, that won't be the case in this matrix because it's going to be weekly compression. Okay. So if you have a spot filled in your matrix, that spot is going to produce revenue because the only people that's going to be in your matrix are going to be active paying subscribers. All right. Now, that's M1. That's M1. And I'll share with you a first mover's advantage that you and I have above the rest of the world in a few moments. Now, with that being said, you're always going to have with the matrix a lot more people towards the bottom of the matrix than the top. See, there's only 3 positions on that first level in the matrix, right? There's only 9 positions on that second level in the matrix. There's only 27 positions on the third level in the matrix. So once you get below the third and fourth and fifth level, that's when you start having, let me see, you've got 81 on the fourth, you've got 243 on the fifth, you've got 729 spots on the 6th, 2,187 spots on the 7th. So from the 7th down, you're into the thousands of folks. There's going to always be more people on the bottom of the matrix than on the top of the matrix. So how do we help people that are on the bottom of the matrix actually make money? Well, this is how. Because 4 times a month, there's going to be this reverse matrix that's also running where people that are on the bottom of matrix number 1 are now going to be at the top of matrix number 2. So what if a person that you refer today is at the bottom of matrix 1, and then when they do the reverse angle of it, next week they're at the top of matrix number 2? Now, are you going to be excited for them because they make some money? Sure, you're going to be excited for them, and I'll show you what that would mean for you in just a few moments if you referred them, okay? And then there's going to be a third matrix. This is all running simultaneously, where it's going to look at everyone that's in M1. It's going to look at everyone that's M2, that's in M2, and it's going to look at those ones who made the least amount of money. There might be some that still haven't made any money just yet. Those people are going to be at the top of matrix number 3. And the whole target is to get every customer making something. Think of it as a rebate, okay? And it might only be $10 for the month. But hey, if I have a $49.95 a month subscription and I got a $10 rebate, hey, wonderful. Because really, what's the Michael Jordan? The Michael Jordan is the trading systems. That's the Michael Jordan. The compensation plan is Scottie Pippen. Okay, Jordan had Pippen. He won 6 championships, and one could reason that Jordan probably would have won his fair share of championships even without Scottie Pippen. But we know that every championship he won with Pippen. So the compensation plan is certainly a key component, but it's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the product. Okay, this is one of the few companies that you'll ever see where the product really is the Michael Jordan. In network marketing, typically the product is, oh, that's the product. Okay, show me the comp plan. And so if it's a 30-minute presentation, it's 2-3 minutes on the product, 27 minutes on how great and sizzly the compensation plan is, even though most people won't make any money. That's not the case with our product. And they've designed and engineered the matrix so that at least everybody has a chance to make something. Okay, now why is that important? Because if people know, hey, if I keep my membership, I get this great product, but also if I keep my membership, I might wind up on top of matrix number 2 when they do the reversal, since it changes every 4 times a month, or I might be on the top of matrix number 3, and I might make a few $100s that I wasn't even expecting to make. Okay, all right, so that's the tri-matrix system. Now let's talk about the compensation in it, all right? So you'll have your 3x7 matrix within the company's matrix. For every subscriber in your matrix, doesn't matter who referred them, that pays their $49.95 a month, you earn $1 per month per subscriber. Up to $900 a month if you're just a customer. But I want you to be more than a customer. I want you to be an affiliate. I'll tell you what that entails in just a moment. Now, if you have someone in your matrix that has enterprise, $149.95, one, and you are also enterprise qualified, the easiest way to qualify for enterprise is for you to have enterprise. Or there'll be a way that if you don't have enterprise, you can refer personally so many enterprise users, and that would qualify you. I don't know if that's going to be like 3 or 5 users. I don't know. The easiest way is for you to be enterprise. If you're enterprise qualified, one, and you have any of your folks in your matrix that are enterprise qualified, I'm sorry, not enterprise qualified, just have enterprise. Well, that would make them enterprise qualified. You would get $3 a month, okay? So if in time you ultimately had a full matrix, that could be a lot of money. And then when you are legacy, and I say when because I believe that all of you eventually will be legacy, it's just a matter of time for some. Anyone that's in your matrix that is legacy, you get $7 per month. Now keep in mind, there's $1 per month going into matrix number 1 for $49.95. There's $1 per month going into matrix number 2 for $49.95, and there's $1 per month going into matrix number 3 for $49.95. There's $3 going into matrix 1, $3 matrix 2, $3 matrix 3 per month for 7 levels in each of the matrices. $7 a month times 7 levels in each of the matrices, okay, for the legacy. Okay. Now, customers can earn up to $900 a month. I've never seen this before, and every customer certainly isn't going to earn $900 a month. This is the cap, okay? And there's a legal reason why there's a cap, so that there's no violation of any lottery laws, meaning oh, let me join just so maybe I get at the top of matrix 2 or matrix 3 and make thousands upon thousands of dollars. Well, you can join and you can get at the top of matrix 2 or matrix 3 perhaps, but if you're just a customer, you'd make $900. But look at this. If you were a customer at $49.95 or $149.95 or $399.95, and then you made $900 to max as a customer that month, hey, and let's assume you hadn't referred anybody, that's cool, okay? All right, but I want you to be more than a customer. All right, I want you to be an affiliate. As an affiliate, you do two things beyond just being a customer. One, you pay a small affiliate fee of $9.95 a month, and that simply helps to offset some of the processing fees that the company's going to have. The company's going to have processing fees every time it dings someone's credit card for a monthly subscription. We, the affiliates, help to cover that somewhat with our $9.95. It doesn't cover it all, but it helps to offset that, okay? The other thing to be an affiliate is you refer at least one active customer. So I can pay the $9.95 if I haven't referred anyone just yet. The system still just looks at me as a customer. Once I refer at least one active user, then I'm an affiliate. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that's required for you to earn more than $900 per month in the matrix. There is no, you have to have so much volume on the left leg and so much volume on the right leg, or you got to personally enroll 3, and you have to have so much volume in one of those legs, and you've got to produce, 17 black rubies and 33 red onyxes and all that stuff. All right, none of that stuff. Refer one. You are an affiliate. You can refer. You can now generate more than $900 a month from the matrix. Okay. All right. So let's just cover this real quickly. So what's the potential? The potential in a 3x7 matrix. The company's matrix is unlimited depth. Your and my matrices within the company's matrix is 7-level payout. Here is the potential. If in time you have a full matrix, and there's going to be a good number of you that in time I expect to have a full or near full matrix. There are some of you that joined the sister company, DS Domination, as something called a founder. I found out today that if you are a founder, you're in the top 150 spots of this new matrix, of this company-wide matrix. Some of you, Dr. Chris, you are a founder, sir. You are a founder, sir. You understand how powerful that is? So there's going to be a good number of you that ultimately could have a full matrix, or at least closer to it. I've never seen a full matrix in my 20 years in this industry, but I've never had a company matrix either. And so someone like myself who, I've been at it all day. Okay, I've been at it all day. I'm going to be at it all day tomorrow. I'll continue to be at it. I'm going to personally enroll a ton of people in the options domination because this is my passion. Well, that's going to help fill other people's matrices as well. Okay. All right. So if everybody in your matrix, 3,279 positions, had inheritance, you'd make $1 per month per subscriber, $3,279 a month. Now, for my leaders and for my big business builders, initially, I didn't think this was all that great. I thought that was cute because I've made a lot more than $3,279 in a month residually before. But here's been the problem. I've been with the company and made $20,000 a month residually, and then the next month the money wasn't there. I've been in the company where I've made over 6 figures, and then it was money on the screen. What we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is a customer-driven matrix. We're going to have far more customers than we even have affiliates, all right? Far more customers. From a regulatory standpoint, the regulator is going to absolutely love that. The company is actually product focused and centric focus on the product. Notice, even though we just started talking about the compensation, we spent an hour and a half talking about the product. Okay, so what I see now that my vision has been stretched is that if in my M1 matrix, I've got 3,279 folks or some variation there, and I'm getting $1 per month, And there is a constant compression on a weekly basis, so that if I have 3,279 folks in my matrix today, I should have 3,279 folks in my matrix next week and next month and so on and so forth. Now the dream that I bought 20 years ago of residual income, which eludes even many of the top leaders, because they're with this company, residual income, it dies out, then they go to this company, residual income, it dies out, and they go to this company, residual income, and dies out, and then Joe and Susie average never even see residual income. They've been hearing about it for 20 years and they've never experienced it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking to do 7 figures in my trading. This right here is nice gravy, but I'll take the gravy. I'm not sending it back. And for other folks that maybe aren't trading to that level at this point, it's my goal to get you there. Could you imagine if an extra $3,300, and that's not even the biggest thing that's happening for you because you just made that in a day or two in trading? If everybody in your matrix was an enterprise, you'd make it $3 a month per subscriber. Everybody won't. You'd make $9,800 a month. So you know that if you have a full matrix, your potential is somewhere between 3,300 thereabout and 9,800. Wait a minute. If everybody was legacy and you were legacy qualified, that could be 23,000. So you can make in a full matrix somewhere between $3,279 to as much as 22,000 and some change per month. But here's the difference. Whether it's 3,000 a month or 300 a month or what have you, the retention rate is going to be through the roof because people are actually making money being a product of the product. People don't want to leave because they could wind up being on the top of M2 or M3 as those things rotate 4 times a month. And there is weekly compression. So if you have 372 people in your matrix today, you shouldn't have less than 372 people in your matrix next week, because the people that were, for whatever reason, did not pay their monthly subscription get compressed out, and there are going to be nothing but active people, active paying subscribers in your matrix. Okay? All right, so real residual income. Real residual income. Okay? Now, there's some affiliate bonuses. You refer someone. See, I may refer someone that doesn't wind up in my matrix. As a matter of fact, the majority of people that I refer will not wind up in my personal 3x7 matrix. They're in the company's matrix, but not in my matrix necessarily. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm going to have a lot of people that are in my matrix that had nothing to do with me, had nothing to do with anybody in my genealogical tree in terms of me personally enrolling them and them enrolling somebody else and so on and so forth. However, when you refer someone, you will get a payout from their monthly subscription. So if someone is at the $49.95 a month, you're going to get a 10% payout, you know, an extra $5 or so there a month. If they're at the $149.95 a month, 10% payout. If they're at the $399.95 a month, $39.95 payout. 2% on this second generation. You refer me, I refer Queen Twitter. Queen Twitter would be your second generation. Queen Twitter refers Sandra. Sandra would be your third generation. Sandra refers William. William would be your fourth generation. William refers Yolanda. Yolanda would be your fifth generation. Let me show you this one last piece on the compensation. This is where the big builders come in, okay? Where the big builders come in is with the matching matrix income bonuses. Anyone that you personally refer, whether you're a big builder or not, anyone that you personally refer, you're going to get a 25% match of their monthly matrix income. Now let's think this through. So you just referred someone who happened to be on the bottom of M1, but then they're on the top of M2. They referred somebody themselves, so that means that they can earn more than $900, and maybe they earned $2,000 for the month because they were at the higher end of M2. Where you would get a 25% matching bonus. They earned $2,000, you'd make $500, okay? Let's say that you have someone that you referred and in their M1, because M1 is constant. Remember, that's not reversing every four times a month. Let's say that you have someone that you personally refer, and they ultimately are making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month in their matrix, in their M1 matrix. okay? So if they're making $4,000 a month in one matrix, you're getting a 25% match of their residual income, of their matrix income. They're making $4,000, you're making an extra $1,000 a month. And so now when I look at my buddy Tyron, and I know he's going to personally enroll a few hundred, then he's going to be matching a few hundred. If you enroll 10, you're going to be matching 10. And it doesn't stop there. You enroll me, okay, as your customer, you get a 25% match on my matrix income. I enroll Queen, she's your second generation, you get a 10% match on her income. So I might not be the big builder, she might be the big builder. Or, you know, she's got the huge matrix or what have you, okay? So now all of a sudden, not only are you benefited by the fact that you personally enrolled me, you also benefited by the fact that I enrolled her. She's your second generation. You're getting 5%. So in time, you could be matching hundreds, maybe even thousands of folks based on your personal enrollment tree. You refer some folks, they refer some folks, they refer some folks, they refer some folks, and you're earning 25% matching and 10% matching and 5% matching and 3% matching and 2%. See, so now when I go and I see, let's say maybe they'll have a leaders board, I don't know. And let's say that at the top of the leaders board is Reginald Stinson and not T. Lamont Silver Sr. Am I going to be mad at that, or am I going to say, you go, Reginald, go, man, do what you do, buddy, do what you do it faster, do it bigger, because in doing it, you help the matrix. And if maybe you referred somebody who referred a Reginald type, then maybe you're getting 5% of that person's matrix income. Essentially, in the matrix, you're overriding a portion of the entire company. Let that sink in, okay? All right. So let me remind you what the potential is. The potential is, in a very perfect world scenario, full matrix, everybody's at legacy, we know that's not going to happen, $23,000. Or $3,000 if they have a full matrix. And not everybody's going to have a full matrix. You're going to have a lot of people that have 72 people in a matrix. Somebody else has 89 people in a matrix. Somebody else has 179. Somebody else has 832. And if you're matching 25%, 10%, 5%, 3%, so on and so forth, that could be huge in time. And remember, that's Scottie Pippen, the Michael Jordan of the trading systems. Okay, so let's talk about the launch time frame, and we're just about ready to go into an optional Q&A. System's going to launch Monday, February the 2nd. This is when the signals are to go live, when other people that have nothing to do, that know nothing about options domination, can now start coming into the options domination. But there's a very special pre-launch for those who are part of the sister company. So if you're not part of the sister company, DS Domination is an e-commerce platform. It's a training platform on how to sell on eBay, how to sell on Amazon. We have people even on this webinar now that are generating $10,000 a month or more drop shipping on Amazon based on the training they got from DS Domination. We've got other people now that are generating in excess of $10,000 a month because they have a fulfillment by Amazon from the training they got from DS Domination. We've got people on the webinar right now that have generated in excess in 2014 in excess of 100,000 or 250,000 or even more in sales in eBay through drop shipping, where they didn't own the product. They simply sold some vendor's product on eBay at a higher price than what they could buy it for, and then they got the margin there. Okay, so that's DS Domination. One of the owners of DS Domination, a gentleman by the name of Jason Rose, is the owner of Options Domination. Okay, so there is a sister company element there. If you are in DS Domination, you're going to be able to lock in an Options Domination spot before the system goes live to the rest of the world. So this is how this is going to work. Okay. You want to get back with the person that invited you to tonight's webinar. If you're not already in DS Domination, get back with them, ask them for the DS Domination link. You join DS Domination. There are a number of subscription packages within DS Domination in order to, if you're just doing a positioning play, I just want to position myself ahead of the masses, you could get started with DS Domination for $19.95 a month. Now, I'm going to suggest you keep it thereafter because you're going to be able to integrate the two. Meaning when people join you in Options Domination, should you refer Options Domination, they're going to see DS Domination, and if they get DS Domination, if they join you in Options Domination, then they get DS Domination, they'll be getting it from you. So you just created multiple streams of income with 20 bucks a month, okay? All right, now some of you originally joined DS Domination at some point in the past, whether it was last week, last month, last year. DS Domination launched in August of 2013. Some of you joined in August of 2013. Some of you joined in September of 2013. But you are inactive. Well, this is what DS Domination is going to do. If you will reactivate your DSD position with at least a $19.95 a month, then you'll be able to maintain your time and date stamp. In other words, what Options Domination is doing is they're migrating the whole database. Now, the sister companies, they are standalone companies, sister companies nonetheless. The lead technical guy, the lead developer of DS Domination is also the lead developer in terms of all the systems and what have you of Options Domination. So he's already brought over the entire database based on a time and date stamp of when people join DS Domination. There are over 100,000 folks that have set up accounts with DS Domination. Not all of them obviously are active, but a lot of them are. Now, if you were in DS Domination previously, you had an active subscription at one time and you don't have it now, then you don't have to wait to get somebody's link. You'll go to dsdomination.com/members, and if you remember your username and your password, you simply log in with your username and password. It will let you know, oh, you don't have an active subscription, and you simply reactivate the subscription with a $19.95 a month billing. If you don't remember your username and password, all right, some of you will remember your username, but you might forget your password, go to dsdomination.com/members. At the very bottom, there'll be a link that says Contact Us. That'll take you to where you can submit a support ticket saying, hey, I want to reactivate, but I don't remember my username or my password. Here's the email address I used when I registered, so that they can reset things for you, okay? Once that's reset, reactivate with at least a $19.95 a month subscription. When you do that, you'll be able to log into DS Domination, and then you'll be able to go through the process of activating Options Domination. You choose your $49.95 or your $149.95 or your $399.95. All right, so we basically have three categories of people on tonight's webinar. Those who have been active, you've maintained your activity. All you've got to do is go into your back office of DS Domination, say, I want to lock in my spot with Options Domination. There's a small process there. You'll get an email telling you what you need to do. That email may come 24 hours from now. There are those of you that were active in DSD at one point, but you're not active. You're going to dsdomination.com/members.